U.S. Central Command on January 30 urged Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to refrain from escalatory behavior at sea, signaling Washington's concern over rising tensions in vital waterways. The United States stressed it would take all necessary measures to ensure the safety of its forces, ships, and other assets deployed across the Middle East region. The statement followed Tehran's announcement that IRGC naval forces will begin new exercises on February 1, heightening worries about potential encounters with U.S. vessels. U.S. Central Command statement said, and I quote, "Yesterday, Iran announced that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, is conducting a two-day live-fire naval exercise in the Strait of Hormuz scheduled to begin on Sunday. U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, urges the IRGC to conduct the announced naval exercise in a manner that is safe, professional, and avoids unnecessary risk to freedom of navigation for international maritime traffic. The Strait of Hormuz is an international sea passage and an essential trade corridor that supports regional economic prosperity. On any given day, roughly 100 of the world's merchant vessels transit the narrow strait. U.S. forces acknowledge Iran's right to operate professionally in international airspace and waters. Any unsafe and unprofessional behavior near U.S. forces, regional partners, or commercial vessels increases risks of collision, escalation, and destabilization. CENTCOM will ensure the safety of U.S. personnel, ships, and aircraft operating in the Middle East. We will not tolerate unsafe IRGC actions including overflight of U.S. military vessels engaged in flight operations, low-altitude or armed overflight of U.S. military assets when intentions are unclear, high-speed boat approaches on a collision course with U.S. military vessels, or weapons trained at U.S. forces. The U.S. military has the most highly trained and lethal force in the world and will continue to operate with the highest levels of professionalism and adhere to international norms. Iran's IRGC must do the same." Unquote. According to Iranian announcements, the IRGC Navy plans to conduct 2 days of live fire drills in the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most sensitive maritime choke points in the world. Iran had already issued navigational warnings to mariners about the upcoming naval drills last week, according to an Associated Press report. Earlier, in a move seen as a direct response to the U.S. naval buildup, Iran deployed Fateh and Ghadir-class attack submarines to key positions in nearby waters. These deployments are reportedly concentrated along the Persian Gulf, including in and around the Strait of Hormuz, where U.S. and allied shipping regularly pass. At the same time, Iranian officials have threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz entirely if the country comes under attack, raising the stakes for global energy security. Around 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil trade transits the narrow Hormuz Strait every day, making any disruption their potential shock to global markets. IRGC officer Akbarzadeh has claimed that Iran enjoys air, surface, and subsurface dominance in the Strait of Hormuz, underscoring Tehran's confidence in its local military posture. He added that Iran can track ships sailing under different flags through the area, a statement widely interpreted as a warning directed at Western and Allied vessels operating in the strait. Iran has integrated 1,000 strategic drones into the combat formations of all 4 branches of its army, significantly boosting its ability to wage unmanned warfare across multiple fronts. Reports say these UAVs are capable of conducting strike and attack missions, as well as reconnaissance and electronic warfare operations, giving commanders flexible options in both offensive and defensive roles. Military sources add that the drones can engage both fixed and mobile targets across maritime, air, and land domains, allowing Iran to pressure adversaries in any theater of conflict. Analysts estimate that Iran currently possesses around 2,000 missiles along with hundreds of other comparable systems, giving Tehran one of the most extensive missile arsenals in the region. Iranian officials also claim to have successfully tested a ballistic missile with an approximate range of 10,000 kilometers, a capability that would dramatically extend their potential strike reach if verified. At the same time, Tehran has warned US-aligned states in the Middle East that they will face retaliation if they facilitate any American attack on Iran. A senior aide to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei reportedly warned Saudi counterparts that US embassies and facilities in the region could be targeted in revenge. In response, both Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have signaled that they will not permit their airspace to be used by the United States for launching strikes on Iranian territory. A military strike on Iran is now viewed as virtually certain, according to a Western source who described the decision as politically greenlit, with only operational details still in motion. Multiple sources cited by Drop Site News say President Donald Trump could authorize such a strike over the January 31st weekend, making the coming days a critical window for any decision. An allied government was reportedly told that strikes could begin as soon as February 1st, if the final go-ahead is issued and operational conditions are judged favorable. On January 30th, Trump further escalated the military posture by announcing the deployment of additional U.S. warships from the Venezuela area toward the Iran theater.
The country is really in great shape. We have a large armada, flotilla, you can call it whatever you want, heading toward Iran right now, even larger than what we had in Venezuela. It's still in front of Venezuela. The Venezuelan situation, the leadership is doing a very good job. We're very happy, and we're getting along very, very well. And we're inviting countries of the world very shortly. They're going to be starting to take the oil. We're going to be heading that with the country, and it's worked out really well. We're now sending actually a larger number of ships to Iran, and hopefully we'll make a deal. If we do make a deal, that's good. If we don't make a deal, we'll see what happens.
A follow-up. If Iran doesn't make a deal, is your plan to replicate there what you just did in Venezuela?
I don't want to say that. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about anything having to do with what I'm doing militarily. But we have a tremendously powerful fleet there. We have the most powerful ships in the world. We have the most powerful military by far in the world. We showed that on numerous occasions. I rebuilt the military in my term. If I didn't do, I wouldn't, I think, be able to say that. But I rebuilt the military, the entire United States military in my first term. And now we're building it bigger, better, stronger than ever before. I'm adding to it. We're adding something called a battleship. You would find this interesting. You know, the old-fashioned, beautiful battleships? And we're adding up to 25 of them. Each battleship is 100 times more powerful than the battleships of the 1940s, those big, powerful ones with the guns, because of what the ships carry. But we're going to build 10. And then we'll see how we like them, and we're going to go and do another 15 after that. Could be up to 25 battleships, 100 times more powerful. Can you imagine that? And it's peace through strength. We don't want to use them, but if we have to use them, we will.
Mr. President, why are you
Will you speak to please, in the back, yes.
Are you giving Iran any kind of deadline to make a deal before potentially taking
Only
military action?
They know for sure.
Have you communicated that to them directly?
I have.
Do you have a timeline for when you're going to pull back potentially the federal presence there?
No, we'll see how it all works out. They have to float someplace. They might as well float near Iran, but it's a rough situation going on. So I stopped 837 people, as you know, last week from being hung. They were going to hang 830. It was all set, and I'm looking at the people behind me. They're saying, "What kind of racing's a lot nicer than that." Right? They were going to hang 837 people, and I told them, if you do it, you're going to pay a price like nobody's ever paid before. And they pulled back. I appreciated that. But a lot of people are being killed, so we'll see what happens. I can say this, they do want to make a deal.